Allah's Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Dear friends, there was a village 150 kilometers away from Mecca called Banu Sa'd. 1 week after the birth of Rasulullah alayhi wasallam, 10 women of Banu Sa'd with their vehicles set out for Mecca in search of a milk giver. The women had no other choice. They would bring babies from rich families to their homes, breastfeed them, and then return them to their parents when they grew up. In return, the parents of these babies would give a lot of money and gifts to the milk giver. 10 women of Banu Sa'd and 10 women of Mecca were born with this hope. On your side, camel grass also grew very little, so animals were unable to get proper food. Halima Sa'diya took her single camel and started towards Mecca with the other 10 women. They were determined to find a milk-drinking animal that would bring them money. One of their women was with Halima Sa'diya. These women had a mother who produced milk and husbands. This is why she repeatedly emerged from Halima Sa'diya's camel. After journeying far away, the women stopped at a location where Halima Sa'diya's camel could reach them slowly, and all the women reached Mecca together. They had to stop repeatedly for Halima Sa'diya, which is why they ultimately became Halima Sa'diya. He told Halima, "We have to stop at your place again and again. It's very hot, so if you let us, we'll take it out and you can come slowly on your camel." Halima Sa'diya Berry's response was immediate, "Okay, you people don't bother me there. You will take it out. I will go with my husband. I am drinking slowly." After a journey of 2 days, these 9 women reached Mecca. There were many wealthy families in Mecca, and they took one or another milk-drinking child from their houses. It is recorded that these 9 women initially arrived at the residence of our hero sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The women first came to the house of our hero sallallahu alayhi wasallam. However, when they learned that the boy had no father and was an orphan, they refused to take him. They said, "We have traveled this far to get some money and support from his father. This boy is an orphan. What will we get from him?" All the women refused to take our son sallallahu alayhi wasallam. All the women who were taken with the wealthy sons of Mecca refused to take him. This deeply hurt Hazrat Amina's heart, and she sat alone at home, weeping. She thought to herself, "If only my innocent child's father were alive, then some woman would have brought my child to her house. If my husband were alive, he would have taken my child in his lap and taken him around the streets, feeding him toys." Seeing Amina's tears at that time, it's clear that Allah Ta'ala was saying to her, "Oh Amina, why worry? What if the baby's father couldn't buy him a toy? This baby will be so proud that I will be proud of him. I will make the center a toy for this child, and he will break the center into 2 pieces with just a gesture of his fingers. Amina, your father has taken you on a tour of the markets? Well, I'll call this child to the skies and take him on a tour of heaven." Hazrat Amina sat silently, her mind clouded with worry. Hazrat Abdul Muttalib learned that no woman had accepted his grandson. Everyone had refused to accept him. He felt a pain in his heart. "I wished my son had Abdullah been alive, so my grandson would not have to see this day." It was evening. Halima Sa'diya arrived in Mecca at that time and learned that there was no father from a wealthy family left in Mecca. All these women have taken every child whose father is rich. Halima Sa'diya went to Hazrat Amina's house to find him. She knocked on the door and said, "I am a milkmaid from the village." Hazrat Amina thought this woman also. "Now, after seeing my child, she will refuse, saying that I will not adopt this orphan." But Allah put something in her heart, and she called Halima Sa'diya inside the house. When Halima learned the child was an orphan with no father, she refused to take him, and the child was taken back. She didn't get any child, and she went to her husband in a tent. The husband asked Halima what happened, but she replied that she did not get any child. She explained that they had arrived too late, so the other women had taken all the babies from Mecca. She said that perhaps her destiny did not include a baby, but she had gone to a house where there was an orphan baby. She said that the baby's father was not there, so what would they get from him? She asked who would give them money and gifts if there was no father. That is why she had refused to take the baby. It was nighttime and the husband and wife sat silently. The baby was in Harriet Halima's lap, crying because he was hungry for 2 days and there was no milk left in Harriet Halima's breasts because she had also not fed for many days. She had eaten it and because of the hunger, milk had started coming in her breasts. The silence was broken when the husband said to his wife, Halima Saidia, "Hey Halima Saidia, we have no food and we have come to Mecca after traveling such a long distance. We have to return tomorrow morning. It is essential that you go and bring that orphan child. We'll get some reward from Allah for raising an orphan child, even if we don't get any money." I refused to return home empty-handed. Halima Saidia agreed. "I'll return right now. I'll come and get that break and then leave." Halima reached Bibi Amina's house, and Harriet Amina was delighted that a woman had accepted her child. Harriet said, "Oh God, show me that child." Harriet Amina Allah Ta'ala Anha pointed towards a child lying on the ground. At that time there was a cloth lying over Hurur sallallahu alayhi wasallam. When she removed the cloth and saw the face of Hurur sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, her heart skipped a beat. Hurur sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam smiled and held Harriet Halima's finger. Seeing the baby's beauty and her sweet smile, Harriet Halima lost herself in the moment and lifted the baby into her lap, embracing her with unbridled love. As she embraced the baby, Harriet Halima felt an incredible coolness that she had never felt before. She then declared, "I will take this baby with me." She asked Abdul Muttalib's Halima Saidia, "What tribe are you from?" Halima Saidia replied, "Banu Sa'd." She then asked, "What is your name?" Halima Saidia replied, "My name is Halima Saidia." Upon hearing this, Abdul Muttalib exclaimed, "Wow, brother, wow! Kindness and simplicity have come together." He praised Harriet Halima and said that she could take his child. Harriet Halima started moving forward with the child. Then she stopped and said to Harriet Amina that, "Oh Amina, I'm from the village. I have not seen such a beautiful flower in the villages until now." Hazrat Amina replied, "Oh Halima, you are a resident of the village and I am a resident of the city. I have not seen such a flower in the cities until now." Hazrat Abdul Muttalib stood nearby and said, "Oh Halima, you have not seen such a beautiful flower in the country, and oh Amina, you have not seen such a beautiful flower in the cities. I travel throughout the country and I have not seen such a flower." If Hazrat Ibrahim was present, he would have said, "Oh Halima, you have not seen such a beautiful flower in the country, and oh Amina, you have not seen such a beautiful flower in the cities. Oh Abdul Muttalib, you must not have seen such a beautiful flower in the countries. I, Ibrahim, curse the whole world. I have not seen such a beautiful flower in the whole world." If someone had asked Allah at that time, Allah would have said that I am the creator of this flower. I am the master of the whole world, the king of kings. I swear that I have no equal in beauty among all the creation. Hazrat Hassan, while praising our Lord sallallahu alayhi wasallam, once said, "O our Lord sallallahu alayhi wasallam, I have not seen anyone more beautiful than you, and no woman has given birth to a more beautiful person than you. You were created after purifying yourself from all the evils, and you were created exactly the way you should have been." Hazrat Halima Sa'diya reached her husband, taking her sallallahu alayhi wasallam in her lap. It was very late in the night. The little boy was crying with hunger. Hazrat Halima Saidia thought about her sallallahu alayhi wasallam feeding the baby milk from her breast. Perhaps the baby would get a drop or two. She immediately placed her sallallahu alayhi wasallam to her breast, and within no time, her breast started filling with milk. Her sallallahu alayhi wasallam drank milk to his heart's content. The baby drank milk to his heart's content. This surprised Hazrat Halima and her husband. They were confused. She instructed her husband to place the vessel in the udder of their female camels standing outside, suggesting that the milk would likely be drawn out, allowing them to consume it and satiate their hunger. The husband went outside with the vessel and was surprised to see that the udder of that female camel was full of milk. He began milking it, filling the vessel completely. When he reached Hazrat Halima with the milk, she was surprised by how much milk had come out of the female camel. The husband replied, "O Halima, it's clear that this orphan is receiving divine assistance, which explains these remarkable events." Hazrat Halima embraced Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and acknowledged this as a sign. "It seems that this sweet child will end all the troubles of our house." Everyone drank milk and went to sleep. The next morning, the husband prepared to return to his tribe, and said, the 9 women had already left for their home. She was married and had gone far away. First, he sat on the female camel and then he made his wife sit on his female camel. Our Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was in the lap of Hazrat Halima at that time. Her husband tried to make the female camel stand up, but she refused. She was visibly upset, and when her husband came down, the female camel suddenly stood up. The husband was visibly upset. He was stunned, and once again he sat in front of the female camel, attempting to control it. However, it remained seated, refusing to rise. The husband grew suspicious and instructed Hazrat Halima to sit in front with the camel while he sat behind her. Halima sat in front and the camel stood up, its head resting on the seat. It said "Na" 3 times, thanking Allah for Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's first ride. Then the camels started running, moving quickly. Sardia and her husband were surprised that it was the same female camel they had brought with them. She had longed to get it, so they asked what had happened to it now that it was running so fast. After some time, the female camel, while running, found those 9 women and passed by them. Those women asked, surprised, "Oh Halima, have you changed your ride?" Halima replied, "I haven't changed the ride, but I have changed the way of this ride." Halima Saidia was the first to reach her locality, Bani Sad. Halima Saidia says that on that day, the entire locality was filled with the fragrance of roses. The people were surprised, and this was a welcome from Allah for our Lord Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in that tribe. Halima Saidia, O Allah Ta'ala Anha, reached home with our Lord Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. It was evening darkness, and she said that as soon as I entered the house with her Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, a light spread everywhere and a fragrant smell started coming in the house. I was surprised. Our Lord Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam began living in the house of Halima Saidia. The face of our Lord Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was such that even if it was 14th century, anyone who saw our Lord Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam would press his fingers under his teeth. There was always a light on the face of our Lord Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. It is recorded in the hadith that one night, Hazrat Aisha was sitting in her house sewing a cloth. It was very dark, and suddenly the needle fell from my hand on the floor. I was worried and searched for it, but in the darkness, I couldn't find it. Suddenly, our Lord Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam entered the room, and such light emanated from his face that the needle entered the room, completely clean. I picked it up. Our Lord Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam lived in the house of Halima Saidia. Halima Saidia fed milk to our Lord Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and told him to speak. She taught them. She applied black to their eyes, and I applied oil to them and held my finger. Lana taught. In those days, the tribe of Bani Sad experienced great poverty. So much so that grass did not grow on the fields. The cattle and goats of that area used to go out for farming and to return hungry in the evening, and there was not even a drop of milk in their udders. Halima had brought Hurur Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam from Sardia to her house, so her goats also. If she could sleep, she would return in the evening with a full stomach. Other people in the neighborhood got angry at their neighbors and said that you people should also bring your goats and do the same thing. Yes, Halima Saidia. The people in the neighborhood started doing the same and took their goats to Halima Ranalja with Saidia's goats. But they still don't know about Halima Saidia's goats. she would fill their stomachs by eating a little grass, and their udders would be full of milk. Other people's goats would return hungry in the evening, and there would not be even a drop of milk in their udders. Kelamissadir always had blessings in her house. Barkit watched Arur sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam grow up quickly. He was growing up slowly like other boys. He didn't grow so much that in a year or two our Lord sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam started looking like a strong boy. Kelamissadir brought our Lord sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam to her house, promising him 2 years, and kept him as guru for 2 years. Barkit kept watching Arur sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam grow up very fast. He grew up slowly like other boys. In a year or two our Lord sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam started looking like a strong boy. Kelamissadir had brought our Lord sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam to her house, promising to keep him for 2 years. Now, Kelamissadir, our Lord sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, is returning the Harrat. Kelamissadir did not want to return her child so soon. That is why she brought her sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam to Mecca and started saying to Harrat, Amina, O Amina, I have learned 2 years as per the promise. Kelamissadir, our Lord sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, insisted on returning the child. Her sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam was not ready to leave, so she brought him to Mecca and firmly stated, O Amina, I have learned 2 years as per the promise, but I wish to keep this child with me for some more days. I see that many diseases are spreading in Mecca, and I am afraid that my child may get infected. That is why, please be kind and let this child stay with me for some days. Kelamissadir said a lot, so Harrat Aminur also said that okay, if you are saying so much, then you can take my child with you for a few more days. Kelamissadir spoke at length. She was delighted and brought her sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam to her house. One day, her sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam was playing in the courtyard. There were mud houses in that courtyard. Kelamissadir was doing her bad work, and her husband was lying on a cot in front of her. He was standing there when some Jews passed by and saw our Lord sallallahu alayhi wasallam. They came near him and started looking at his eyes very carefully. Kelamissadir was alarmed, thinking, who are these people who have held my boy? The Jews asked her about the red lines in her son's eyes, wanting to know if they were always there or if they meant something else. Kelamissadir confirmed that they were always there. The Jews then saw the seal on the back of Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam and began saying among themselves that they should kill the boy or else he would destroy their religion. Kelamissadir heard their words and got very scared. The Jews then demanded to know who had held their boy. Kelamissadir asked where the boy's father was. She said he was lying on the bed in front of her. Upon hearing this, the Jews responded that if she had claimed the boy's father was dead, they would have killed him on the spot. They took him away. Kelamissadir was very scared. A few days after this incident, some Christian people came near Kelamissadir's house. When they saw our Lord sallallahu alayhi wasallam, they became composed and asked Kelamissadir, O Bibi, are these red lines always there in this boy's eyes? The Jews took him from there. Kelamissadir was very scared. A few days later, some Christian people came to her house. When they saw our Lord sallallahu alayhi wasallam, they asked her, O Bibi, are these red lines always there in this boy's eyes? Sometimes Kelamissadir said that they always lie there. Then those Christians said, O wife, give this boy to us. We will bring him to our area and leave him well because he is a prophet of the coming generations. When she heard this, Kelamissadir said, I cannot do this. I have brought this boy from Mecca and I have to return him to those people. Kelamissadir asserted that they always lie there. The Christians insisted that they take the boy to the area, claiming he was a prophet of the coming generations. Kelamissadir refused, stating that she had brought the boy from Mecca and was determined to return him to his people. The Christians took him away. One day, Hazrat Helima took our Lord sallallahu alayhi wasallam to a fair. This fair was held in a locality named Amar. Important people of Arabia came to this fair, and it was bustling with activity for the whole month. Hazrat Halima and Arur sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam arrived at the fair. There, a witch woman breathed on Arur sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, claiming that he would destroy the people's empire and end their religion if they did not kill him. As soon as Halima Sa'diya heard these words, she ran away with Arur sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam in the crowd. People searched for Arur extensively, but with the help of Allah, they could not find him. Hazrat Halima took Arur sallallahu alayhi wasallam back to her house. As she did, her guru Laila Barstisu informed her that a fair was taking place nearby. Every year, a great magician came to the fair, looked at the people, and predicted their fate. Hazrat Halima took our husband sallallahu alayhi wasallam to the fair. When she went near the magician, Hazrat Halima took Arur sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam back to her house. Her guru Laila Barstisu was hosting a fair. Every year, a great magician came to the fair. He sat among the people and predicted their fate. Halima took our husband sallallahu alayhi wasallam to that place. When she went near the magician, he wrote, "O people, kill this boy. Otherwise, he will destroy the believers of your religion, break your idols, and destroy the signs of your forefathers from Arabia." The magician, sallallahu alayhi, began advancing toward Prophet Muhammad, intent on capturing him and assaulting him with his knife. However, at that precise moment, Allah's curse struck him, causing him to lose his sanity. He subsequently perished in a state of madness. Halima Sa'diya witnessed the incident and was deeply alarmed. She immediately informed her husband, who expressed his concerns about the boy. He instructed her to return him to his home in Mecca at once. Many days passed, and one day, our Lord sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam asked his mother Halima Sa'diya, "O mother, my brother Abdullah and sister Shma do not come to me all day. Where do they both go during the day? If you come, then they are grazing goats during the day and returning in the evening." Hurur sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam replied, "From tomorrow, I will also graze goats with them." The next day, Hurur sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam grazed the goats with his brothers and sisters. 3 days later, in the afternoon, Shima and her brother Abdullah came running to the house and started crying in front of Halima Sa'diya. They said, "Amma, 2 people have caught our Meccan brother and have torn his chest, and they are taking out a knife from his chest." Hearing this, Halima became very scared and ran towards the forest with her husband. When I arrived, I saw that Arur sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam was standing on one side, shivering. The color of Uri's face had changed. Halima Sa'diya immediately embraced Arur sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, inquiring, "O my son, what happened to you? Why are you worried?" Then, Arur sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam told them everything. "O Amman, I was standing here alone when 2 men came. They were wearing white robes. One of them asked the other if this was the boy. The other said that yes, this was the boy about whom Allah had given orders. Then both of them made me lie down on the believer and tore my chest. They took out something from inside and I threw it away. Then they hit my chest with something." Cecil Amma said, "I did not feel any pain, even after so long." Sheikh Kesra's story is clear. Allah sent a message to Ibrahim and Mikael, and the vein from within her sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam was released. This vein is the one through which a man commits sins and the devil overpowers him. Her sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam was made pure from childhood itself. Halima Sa'diya was alarmed and hurried home with her sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. Her husband said, "Halima, don't hesitate. Take this child to Mecca right away and give him to his mother." She knew something was wrong. Hazrat Halima Sa'diya immediately set out for Mecca, accompanied by Hazrat sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. After a journey of 2 days, she reached Mecca. Just as she was entering Mecca, her husband sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam disappeared from her hands. She was overcome with worry. It was evening, and Hazrat Halima scoured the area for Hazrat Sallallahu Ta'ala Alayhi Wasallam, but to no avail. Finally, growing increasingly worried, she ran to Hazrat Abdul Muttalib, but he was gone. Upon hearing this, Abdul Muttalib also grew worried and immediately sent his boys to search everywhere in Mecca to find my grandson. Otherwise, some wolf might make him its prey. The people were worried and started searching for Hazrat Sallallahu Ta'ala Alayhi Wasallam. Abdul Muttalib entered the Kaaba, took hold of its cover and prayed to Allah, crying out, "O Allah, protect my grandson Muhammad. If he is alive, send him to me safe and sound." Meanwhile, Waraq ibn Nawfal and another man brought Hurur Sallallahu Alayhi Wasallam to Abdul Muttalib and, as they moved forward, said, "This is your son, Abdul Muttalib. We found him in a forest outside Mecca." She called him and asked, "Halima, why did you bring my child back so soon? Just a few days ago you took my child to your home after taking so much time." Halima said, "Amina, it was our promise 2 years ago that I would breastfeed this child at my place for 2 years. Now 2 years are over, so I want you to take care of your child." Amina understood that the matter was something else, so she demanded, "Halima, tell me the truth. What is the real matter?" When Amina revealed too much, Halima Saidiya confessed everything: how the magicians had asked to kill and the Jews had tried to kill, and how 2 people cut your chest with a knife. Halima Saidiya used to tell all these things. She was crying and saying that she was afraid that something bad might happen to her baby. So Hazrat Amina said, "Oh Halima, are you afraid of the devil? Will the devil harm my baby?" Halima said, "Yes, O Amina, I am afraid of this." Then Hazrat Amina said, "Oh Halima, this will never happen." Halima Saidiya said that she was afraid of something bad happening to her baby. She was crying and saying that. So Hazrat Amina said, "Oh Halima, are you afraid of the devil? The devil might harm my baby." Then Halima said, "Oh Amina, I am afraid of this." When her child was being born, she saw a light come out from within her, illuminating the whole world. Then Hazrat Amina told all the blessings to Halima at the time of birth. She said, "Oh Halima, O Allahu Ta'ala Anha, now you can go. I myself was waiting for my beloved son to come to me." Halima was taken back. Then our Lord Sallallahu Alayhi Wasallam started spending his life